I woke up in my sister's body that Tuesday morning, staring at the ceiling fan in her overpriced Brooklyn loft. And the first thing I thought was, this is what hell feels like, wearing someone else's skin while your own life's in ruins. My name's Arabella. But right then, I was trapped inside Evangeline's lithe frame, her designer yoga pants hugging hips that weren't mine, her manicured nails digging into palms that itched for revenge. I'd refused to bail her out of that $15,000 credit card debt she'd racked up on Botox and bad boyfriends. And in retaliation, our mother had hacked my accounts, drained every cent savings, emergency fund, even my 401k rollover, leaving me with nothing but a voicemail from the bank confirming the authorized transfer. It wasn't just theft, it was erasure. Mom had always played favorites, whispering in Evie's ear while shoving me toward the shadows. But this crossed into felony territory, a digital heist masked as maternal tough love. And now, through some twisted miracle or curse, I'd swapped places with Evie, our souls jammed into each other's bodies like faulty puzzle pieces, courtesy of that black market neurotech gadget she'd bragged about at Thanksgiving. It's the future. Bella, she'd slurred over wine, waving her phone. Swap consciousness for a day. Live someone else's life. No harm.
No foul.
Except she'd lied. The device glitched, locking us in. And I was the one who figured it out first. Alone in her skin, plotting my way back. The hook lodged deepest when I checked her phone. Text from Mom. Handle your sister. She's always been the weak link. Weak link? I'd covered for Evie's shoplifting bust at 16, taken the fall for her underage drinking at prom, even forged my college essay to get her into NYU when her grades tanked. Secrets buried so deep they festered. And now, in her body, I felt the weight of it all, the phantom ache of my real ribs from that car crash she caused, the one Mom pinned on me to protect the family name. Evie walked free. I got community service and a record that killed my nursing dreams. I stumbled to the full-length mirror in Evie's closet, the one framed in gold leaf that screamed trust fund excess, and stared at the stranger glaring back. Her face, sharp cheekbones, full lips painted stop sign red, was a mask I'd worn in family photos, smiling through gritted teeth. But my eyes, my stormy gray ones, flickered behind her hazel contacts, betraying the swap. My real body, the curvy one with a faint scar on my collarbone from that crash, was probably back in my cramped Queens apartment, Evie flailing in it like a fish on dry land. How long before she cracked? How long before Mom noticed something off? The device, that sleek neural pod Evie had smuggled from some Silicon Valley Black Ops lab, sat charging on her nightstand. I'd overheard her on a call last month. Yeah, it's experimental, rewires synapses for full immersion. But get this, permanent if you overload it. She'd laughed. The sound like breaking glass.
Now.
I knew why she'd targeted me. Not just for kicks. Evie was drowning in debt. Maxed cards from her influencer gigs that were really just filtered selfies and sponsored scams. She'd begged me over coffee in that hipster cafe on Bedford Avenue, tears smudging her mascara.
Bella, please.
15 grand. It's nothing to you, you're stable. With your boring hospital job. Stable? I'd clawed my way through night shifts at Mount Sinai, dodging lecherous attendings and charting vitals for the dying, all while sending Mom cash for Evie's therapy sessions that were code for spa days. Family first, Mom would coo, her voice honey over venom. From her perch in that McMansion in Westchester, lording over Dad's estate like a queen after his accident, the one Evie and I both knew wasn't an accident at all. But I'd kept quiet, taken the blame for the tampered brakes, told the cops it was my idea to borrow the car. Evie got sympathy, I got suspicion. My hands, her hands, trembled as I scrolled her banking app. Negative balance. Overdraft fees piling like accusations. But buried in the transactions, a $50,000 wire from Mom's account. Time-stamped yesterday. Labeled emergency transfer for E. So it wasn't just my money she'd stolen. Mom was funding Evie's escape, propping up the lie that I was the deadbeat. Rage boiled, hot and unfamiliar in this borrowed vessel, making her pulse thunder in my ears. I needed proof. Slipping into Evie's Lululemon set that felt like saran wrap on my soul, I grabbed her keys and bolted for the subway. The F train rattled toward Manhattan, bodies packed like sardines, and I caught my reflection in the grimy window, poised. Pretty. Privileged. No one suspected the fraud beneath. At the hospital, I badged in with her stolen credentials. Evie had volunteered there once. For the Instagram clout, and hacked into the employee portal using a backdoor I'd learned from a shady IT guy during my suspension. There it was, Mom's donations, funneled through shell charities, laundering the insurance payout from Dad's death. Evie knew. She'd signed the falsified claims, her looping signature mocking my straight lines. By noon, I was back in the loft, device in hand, overriding the swap protocol with code I'd pieced together from Evie's discarded notes. A jolt like lightning, and suddenly I was me again, Arabella Voss. 28. 5'6" of unresolved fury, slumped on my thrift store couch in Queens. Across town, Evie would be waking up to my reality. Eviction notices, maxed utilities, and a body that carried the scars of her sins. But the real gut punch? Mom's text, buzzing my phone. We need to talk. Your sister's in trouble. Again. Trouble. As if she hadn't engineered it all. I forwarded the bank records to my lawyer buddy from law school dropout days, a guy named Rico who owed me for covering his bar tabs. This is fraud. Bella. Wire and email trails, slam dunk. But court would take months, and I had nothing left to fight with.
No.
This needed to be personal.
Dark.
The kind of revenge that whispers in the night, unraveling threads until the whole tapestry burns. That evening, I drove the old Civic, Dad's hand-me-down, the one that still smelled like his aftershave, up to Westchester, the hutch thumping under my tires like a heartbeat. Mom's house loomed at the end of Oak Lane, colonial revival with white columns that hid the rot inside. I parked a block away, slipped through the backyard like a ghost, the kind I'd become after Dad. Peering through the French doors, I saw them, Mom in her silk robe, pacing the kitchen island, Evie, back in her own skin now. Thank God, huddled over a mug of chamomile, looking smaller than I'd ever seen her. Your shirt reversed? Mom hissed, her voice carrying on the chill autumn wind. Evie nodded, but her eyes darted, haunted. Yeah,
But.
it felt wrong. Like she was in me,
Mom.
knowing things. Mom's laugh was a scalpel. Arabella's always been dramatic. She'll come crawling once the dust settles. Just like after the crash. The crash. My fists clenched, nails biting crescents into palms. I'd blacked out behind the wheel, blood in my eyes, whispering Evie's name as sirens wailed. She'd been the one swerving, drunk on stolen vodka, but Mom had coached her, say nothing. Bella will handle it. And I had Because family. Because love. Or what passed for it in the Voss dynasty. I waited until Evie stumbled upstairs, then rapped on the door, soft, insistent. Mom opened it, her Botox-smooth face cracking into surprise. Then calculation.
Bella?
What are you? Save it. I cut her off, stepping inside. The scent of her Chanel no. 5 cloying as regret. I know about the wires. The insurance. Everything. Her eyes narrowed. The queen assessing a pawn. You think you can threaten me? With what? Your little nurse's salary? I made you Arabella. Without me, you're nothing. Made me. Like clay on a wheel, twisted to fit her mold. I pulled out my phone, hit play on the recording I'd snagged from the backyard. Her voice, clear as a confession. Your sister's in trouble. Again. But edited, looped with the bank alerts chiming like funeral bells. This goes viral tonight. TikTok.
Hedge.
The whole internet circus. Suburban mom steals from black sheepdaughter to fund golden child. Hashtag family values. She snatched for the phone. I danced back, heart pounding. Or, I said, voice steady as the lies I'd told for years. You wire back every dime. Plus interest. And Evie's debt? Yours to swallow. Controversy hung in the air like smoke. Was I the villain now? Blackmailing my own blood? The thought twisted. But so did the knife she'd plunged into my back. Mom's lips thinned. A serpent's smile. You always were the spiteful one. Fine. But you'll regret this. I didn't sleep that night. The what-ifs clawing at me. What if she fought dirty? What if Evie flipped the script? By dawn, the money hit my account, $22K. With a curt note, we're even.
But even? No.
The secrets festered. Dad's ghost whispering for justice. Days blurred into a tense standoff. Evie ghosted me. Her social scrubbed of our shared past. Mom sent passive-aggressive care packages, generic Hallmark cards with forgive and forget scrawled inside. I dove back into shifts, the ER a whirlwind of broken bones and bad decisions, mirroring my own. But the device, Evie's little toy, haunted me. I'd kept it, hidden in my underwear drawer, a Pandora's box humming with possibility. What if I used it again? Not for fun, but for truth. For peeling back the layers until the real betrayer stood exposed. It started small. A late-night impulse. Syncing the pod to my laptop. Scanning for logs. There, timestamps from the night of Dad's crash. Not just the swap tech, but neural dumps, Evie's memories. Fragmented and raw. I plugged in, letting the interface pull me under. Not a full swap this time, but a dive into her subconscious. Flashes assaulted me, her hand on the brake line, giggling with Mom in the garage. He suspects the affair. Evie. This ends it clean. Dad's affair, with his secretary. Sure. But Mom's rage had turned lethal. And Evie, complicit. My little sister, twisting the wrench, sealing our father's fate. I surfaced gasping, bile rising. The crime I'd shouldered wasn't just a mistake. It was murder, dressed as accident. And I'd been the patsy from jump. Betrayal didn't cut deep. It eviscerated.
Now.
The real revenge brewed. Dark and deliberate. The kind that American dreams sour into nightmares. The plan crystallized over cold takeout in my apartment. The kind of greasy lo mein that sticks to your ribs like guilt. I couldn't go to the cops, not yet. Mom's connections ran deep. Country club donors. A brother who was DA in the next county over.
No.
This needed to be surgical. A slow bleed that exposed the rot without implicating me. The device was my scalpel. I'd swap back into Evie's body. But this time, weaponized, planting digital breadcrumbs, whispering doubts into Mom's ear from the inside. First,
Recon.
I tailed Evie to her therapy appointment in Midtown, the swanky office overlooking Bryant Park where shrinks charged by the view. She emerged, sunglasses perched like armor, and I followed her into a Duane Reade, watching her stock up on Ativan and energy drinks. Desperation etched her face, the golden child fraying at the edges. That night, I activated the pod, the hum lulling me into the ether. Snap, her loft again, her silk sheets tangled around legs that moved like they were mine. This immersion was deeper, laced with her tics, the way she chewed her lip when anxious, the phantom itch of debt collectors on her neck. I rifled her laptop, downloading files, screenshots of Mom's emails. Liquidate the bonds if you have to. Arabella won't notice. Won't notice? I'd scrimped for years, thinking my generous transfers were for family medical, not Evie's Hamptons weekends. Then, the crown jewel, a hidden folder labeled contingency, encrypted but crackable with my hospital-grade password cracker app. Inside, spreadsheets tracking Dad's life insurance, funneled through offshore accounts in the Caymans. Mom's empire, built on his corpse. I forwarded it all to an anonymous Gmail, set to drip feed to a true crime subreddit I'd seeded with burner accounts. Suburban Secrets. Did this mom kill for cash? Posts went live at midnight. Anonymous tips pointing to public records, the crash report I'd buried, now exhumed. Comments exploded. This is why we can't have nice families. Gaslighting 101. Controversy crackled. The internet's bonfire. And I fanned the flames from Evie's IP, her handle liking the juiciest threads. But power plays cut both ways. Morning brought a call, Mom's number. Voice like ice steel. Arabella. What the hell is this online nonsense? Evangeline's hysterical. I feigned innocence. My real voice hoarse from the swap's aftereffects. Beats me.
Mom.
Maybe Karma's got a Twitter account. Don't play coy.
Meet me.
Lunch at the Palm. 1 o'clock. The Palm, steakhouse cathedral for Westchester Wolves, where deals were sealed over dry-aged ribeyes. I arrived early, staking out from a booth, nerves jangling like loose change. Mom swept in, pearls gleaming like nooses, Evie trailing like a shadow. They slid into the leather banquette opposite, menus up like shields. You're destroying us, Mom started. No preamble. Her fork spearing a shrimp cocktail like an accusation. Those posts lies. All of it. Your father's death was tragic.
Not.
Whatever they're saying. Evie whimpered, eyes red-rimmed.
Bella. Please.
I can't take the trolls. They're doxing my followers. Followers. As if that vapid empire mattered more than Dad's grave. I leaned in, voice low, the waitress hovering like a referee. Then tell the truth. About the breaks. The insurance. How I took the fall so you two could play house. Silence. Thick as the au jus pooling on my plate. Mom's eyes flicked to Evie. A silent command. My sister, our sister, crumbled. It was an accident. Okay? Dad was leaving us. Mom said. We had to stop him. Stop him. the euphemism for sabotage, for severing brake lines in the dead of night. My fork clattered, drawing stares from the power lunch crowd. Controversial? Hell. This was dynamite, admitting patricide over a plate of creamed spinach. You let me crash the car, I hissed, the scar on my collarbone throbbing like fresh. You let me lie to the cops. Carry the guilt. For what? So Evie could inherit his lies. Mom's hand shot across the table, gripping my wrist, manicured nails drawing pinpricks of blood. Enough. You think you're clean? That nursing gig? I pulled strings after your juvie record. Without me, you'd be flipping burgers in Jersey. Juvie for Evie's theft, the diamond necklace she'd borrowed from Mom's safe to impress a frat boy. I'd confessed. 17 and stupid, trading my future for her slap on the wrist. The betrayal layered like sedimentary rock, each stratum heavier.
Crushing.
I wrenched free, standing abrupt, chair scraping like a scream. Wire the rest. Evie's debt, the crash payout skim, or the next leaks to the Times. I tossed a 20 on the table, my last cash, and stormed out, pulse roaring, the city a blur of honking taxis and indifferent pedestrians. Back home, the pod waited, tempting. One more dive.
To seal it.
But doubt crept in, insidious as Mom's smile. Was revenge justice? Or just trading one monster for another? The forums buzzed. Debates raging. Is she a hero or a homewrecker? I scrolled. Anonymous cheers mingling with vitriol. Bloods thicker than evidence. Sleep evaded. The cities hum a lullaby for the damned. Next swap hit harder. The neural link fraying my edges. In Evie's body, I attended her meeting with a loan shark downtown. The kind who collected in kneecaps, not interest. Seedy office off Canal Street, air thick with cigarette ghosts. Evangeline Voss, the guy grunted, a bulldog in a tracksuit. Your ma's good for it.
But you?
You're late. I channeled her flirty, flustered, batting lashes while slipping a USB into his desk drawer. Malware. Courtesy of Rico. It'd sync his books to the cloud, exposing Mom's laundering ties. Mommy dearest will handle it, I purred. Evie's voice a velvet noose. He leered, but bought it, waving me out with a warning. Tell her Tony says hi. Exhilaration coursed, dark and electric. But as I surfaced, reality crashed, a knock at my door. Insistent. Cops?
No, Evie.
Wild-eyed in my old hoodie, rain-soaked from the sprint across the bridge. Bella, what did you do? Mom's freaking, feds at the house.
Feds.
The leaks had escalated. My anonymous strips forming a river. Evie lunged, fists pummeling my arms. Finally. You swapped into me. I felt it, your hate, poisoning everything. I grabbed her wrists, holding firm. You felt truth. Evie. The crash. The money. Dad. She sagged. Tears carving tracks. I didn't mean. Mom said it was mercy. He was sick, leaving us broke.
Mercy.
The lie they clung to, polishing murder till it gleamed. I shoved her inside, the door slamming like a gavel. Then testify. Against her. Or I finish what I started. Her eyes, mirrors of mine in another life. Flickered fear, then resolve. Controversial choice, sister against mother, blood-spilling secrets. But as sirens wailed distant, the tension coiled tighter. A noose for us all. The safe house was Rico's idea, a dingy Airbnb in the Bronx. The kind with peeling wallpaper and a view of the Whitestone Bridge, where escapes felt possible but never easy. Evie and I holed up there, two Voss girls in witness protection light. Phones off. Paranoia our constant companion. Mom's empire crumbled in real time. News alerts pinged from the burner laptop. Headlines screaming Westchester widow faces fraud probe. The feds had bitten. Wire fraud and embezzlement charges stacking like Jenga blocks. One pull from collapse. Evie paced. Chain-smoking menthols she'd swiped from a bodega. Her borrowed sweats sagging on my frame. She'll come for us.
Bella.
You don't know her like I do. I did. Though, better than she thought. Nights blurred into strategy sessions.
Rico dialing in via encrypted video.
His face pixelated but earnest. You've got leverage, but it's fragile. One wrong move, and it's conspiracy. Leverage, the pod's final dump. A neural scan of Mom's confession from Evie's memories, time-stamped to the crash night. I dived one last time, surfacing with audio, distorted, but damning. Mom's voice. Cold as December. Twisted tight. Baby. He won't feel a thing. Ugly. That truth. It twisted me, made me question if the swap had stolen pieces of my soul. Left me hollowed. Evie caught me staring at the device, now bricked and inert on the coffee table. Destroy it, she whispered. Voice raw. It's cursed.
Cursed.
Like us. But destruction felt too merciful. Instead, I mailed it to the DA's office, wrapped in brown paper. Anonymous as sin. Exhibit A, the mind that killed. The climax brewed in a warehouse on the edge of the city. Neutral ground. Mom proposed via cutout, a lawyer with a comb-over and ethical blind spots. Dusk fell heavy. Sodium lights buzzing like angry wasps. The air thick with Hudson River damp. I arrived first. Evie at my side. Her hand clammy in mine. Rico waited in the shadows. Recorder live. Mom emerged from a black Escalade. Alone. Her fur coat a shroud. No entourage. Just the queen stripped bare. Daughters, she said, voice a purr masking panic. This ends tonight. Ends, I echoed, stepping forward, the concrete cold under my sneakers. Like Dad, quick and quiet, her eyes, the same gray as mine, hardened. You think you can bury me? I've got friends, senators, judges. This is a family spat. Arabella. Walk away. And it's forgotten. Evie flinched, but held. No more walking.
Mom.
The brakes. I did it. For you. The admission hung. A guillotine blade. Mom's facade cracked. Just a hair, lips trembling before the mask snapped back. Lies. You're both liars. Like your father. She lunged. Not for me. But the recorder Rico flashed. A desperate grab for control. Chaos erupted. Shouts. Scuffle. Evie scream as Mom's nails raked her cheek. I tackled her. The three of us a tangle of limbs and long-buried hate, rolling across grit-slick floor. It's over, I yelled, pinning her arms, breath ragged. Sirens swelled. Rico's call to 911 paying off. Cuffed and seething in the back of the squad car. Mom spat venom through the partition. You'll rot with me, Arabella. Accomplice to fraud. To this farce. Accomplice. The word stung. Controversial in its echo. Had my revenge made me her mirror?
Evie.
Bandaged and broken, met my gaze from the ambulance gurney. We did right, she mouthed. But doubt lingered. A shadow. The twist hit like whiplash. 2 weeks later, in a sterile courthouse hallway, Rico burst through the doors, face ashen, clutching a manila folder. Bella, it's not what we thought. The neural scan? Tampered. Mom didn't say brake lines. It was brake lights. Dad's car had faulty wiring, his fault, not hers. My stomach plummeted. The audio, pieced from Evie's fractured memory, inverted under scrutiny. No murder, just a tragic glitch. Covered up to dodge lawsuits. The insurance skim a desperate scramble. I'd built my vendetta on sand, the swap's illusions amplifying whispers into roars. Mom wasn't the monster. She was the survivor. Greasing palms to keep the roof over our heads after Dad's negligence shattered us. Evie crumpled beside me, sobs echoing off marble.
We
accused her. For nothing. Not nothing. The debt. The drainings, those were real. Petty tyrannies born of favoritism. But the big lie?
Mine.
I'd hoisted the noose. And now it swung loose. Charges dropped, but fractures lingered. Mom walked. But not home. Divorce papers from her latest husband. The scandal a scarlet letter. Evie vanished to rehab in Sedona, chasing sobriety and self.
Me?
I reclaimed my shifts, the yar's chaos a bomb. But the scar tissue itched, a reminder of decisions that blurred hero and heel. Was it justice or tragedy? The forum still debated. She got what she deserved versus family imploded over a glitch, poetic or pathetic. I didn't answer. Some nights, staring at the bridge lights, I wondered if the swap stole more than memories, if part of Evie lingered in me, her weakness tempering my steel. Or maybe it forged us stronger. Sisters in the wreckage. Revenge tasted like ash. But in the quiet, I tasted freedom. Mom called once. Voice cracked. Come home. Bella. We can rebuild. I hung up, deleted the number. Home wasn't a house anymore. It was the fight I'd won, not against her, but the ghosts we'd all become. And in America's endless grind, that debatable peace, it was enough.